Hey, welcome back, ScreenCrush. I'm Ryan Airy, and I'm joined here by Content Cat, who's just out of frame. I'm not sure what she's up to right now, but we may have a special visitor throughout the stream. Today, we have so much to talk about. We didn't go live yesterday because we were busy doing other stuff, making videos for you guys. But today, we are going to talk about MCU recasting and why it's inevitable and who we think should be recast in the MCU. And as always, let us know in the comments or in the live stream or with super chats if you're able to, and let us know who you think the MCU should recast in certain roles. I will say we may not get to every single super chat today. We've tried to do that in past videos, but we'll definitely get to the bigger ones, but we'll get to all of them we can a little bit later in the video or here and there as we go. And as always, technical difficulties always arise on this show when I'm in charge. So if you can't see or hear me, or if you can see and hear me, please let me know in the live chat right now. I really appreciate it. All looks live on my end, so I'm going to assume that everything is okay. Here's the thing about recasting the MCU. So just to give you guys some background, Kevin Feige has said that after Secret Wars, there will be a, in air quotes, soft reset of the MCU. So there are various kinds of resets you can do with franchises, right? You can do a hard reset, which is just, think of it like what's a great example of that? Like the DCEU, for example, was a hard reset from Nolan's Bat trilogy, from the Dark Knight trilogy. It was like no characters connected, except it's the same character, but completely different universe. That's one way to do it. Another way is like kind of a very soft reboot, right? Which is basically what James Gunn has done with the DCU. He kept elements and certain cast members from the DCEU, mostly stuff he worked on, but also like Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn will probably continue, and so on and so forth. Another way to do it is a kind of prequel reboot. And this is what the X-Men films did. You know, instead of like completely rebooting the universe, they said, well, let's see what the universe was up to in the 1960s. So there's a few different ways to go. I don't think the MCU is going to totally reset the universe. If they did, that would be interesting because we could see, for instance, a version of Captain America that's less Boy Scout and a little bit more like he is in the Ultimate Comics, where he's very much a man, like rooted in old-fashioned ideals of the 1940s. But I don't think we'll get that because that's too big of a departure from the MCU. What Secret Wars is going to do, and in just a second, I'm going to bring on Colton and Tommy. And again, I want to hear from you guys on who should be, recasting the MCU, but Colton and Tommy are going to give you their thoughts. I think what's likely going to happen is after Secret Wars, everything's going to be reconfigured. The universe is going to be destroyed in Doomsday, probably, just judging by the Secret Wars comics. Secret Wars, we have Battle World. We've got different people from different universes, blah, blah, blah. And then probably Franklin Richards, who I'm guessing will have been aged up at this point, is just going to restart the MCU. And he's going to combine elements of the Fantastic Four, X-Men universe, and the main 616 universe, and whatever else they want to pick and choose. Now, kind of like at the end of The Flash, which I know Colton loved, he'll want to talk about that in a second. At the end of The Flash, we see that George Clooney is now Bruce Wayne, and originally that movie was going to end with Michael Keaton as the new Bruce Wayne in the DCEU, and Supergirl as the new Superman, et cetera, et cetera. So The Flash was meant to be a kind of soft reboot after Flashpoint. I think we're going to see something similar in Secret Wars. Now, I don't know if that means we will see a completely recast Tony Stark or Steve Rogers. I think we definitely could, but I definitely think that we'll see some of the X-Men recast. I doubt if the Fantastic Four will be recast at this point. You guys are really popping off the chat right now, and you've already got some names listed here that I'm excited to talk about. First, let me bring on our special guest. You guys know him as the man currently mourning the Buffalo Bills. We have the guy who's always on break, Tommy Bechtold. Tommy, condolences.
It's fine. It's fine. They can't hurt me anymore, Ryan. They've already taken too much from me.
As a Bengals fan, I feel your pain.
I will say this. Thank you to everyone who's reached out from the ScreenCrush family, which is none of you. I'm
reaching out right now. I had to give you time. Why do you think we didn't do a live stream yesterday?
You know who texted me during the game? Philip Molina. And he texted me right before they lost and said, rooting for you. So
friend of the channel, Philip Molina, probably not the guy who's most up on sports ball. Unlike me, I totally knew exactly that the Bills were playing on Sunday and didn't have to be informed by a news feed at all. All right, Tommy, well, it's good to see you. And of course, we have the guy who is trapped in our television and doesn't know it, so please don't tell him, Colton Ogburn. It is so good to see you, man. How are you?
Good. What sports team were they playing?
The Yankees.
Oh, well, then that's
right. Who scored the most hockey pucks and net goals
I think it was MJ.
Gotcha.
Michael Jackson.
And then who caught the snitch at the end? I always forget.
That was Cedric Diggory, R.I.P.
Cedric Diggory. Got it. Okay. So, gang, exciting time. Doomsday coming up. And I should say this is also the last time we're going to see Colton for a little bit. You're gonna take your leave of us for a few days, right?
Right. Yeah, I don't want to
tell people where you're going, but I hope you have a nice time, unless you want to share that information.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm going to Florida. We're going to Orlando, going to the Universal parks, the Disney parks. It's going to be fun.
I am so jealous, man, especially getting to go to Galaxy's Edge, which they're about to change, which is like you're going right before they change it to add Darth Vader into the park.
How does that work technically? How does he get to Florida, Ryan? I don't.
Sorry, Colton, you're glitching out real quick. Just a second. Yeah, just a second. That's a great question. And some of you guys are going to be asking about this in the live chat. What happens is they carry Colton around in the TV, and there's various people around him to make sure he doesn't. So please don't inform him he'll be in a TV. Basically, he doesn't fit on some of the rides, but then he can get onto anything faster because they just throw him over the edge. And he can
that's wonderful.
Sorry, Colton, you glitched out there for a second. You okay, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good. Anyway, going to Disney. Very excited to be there in person, riding the rides, getting to feel the sun on my flesh. I think it's going to be a really good time.
Yeah.
The wind in your hat. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Wait, can I make one recommendation that I think everybody has to do once?
Yeah.
It's 3 words: Splash Mountain Nude.
And actually that's interesting, Tommy, because when I first met you, I'd already known about you from the articles.
Yes.
And
the articles of impeachment that were brought up against me when I.
And if you need to go to Disney World for the last time, Magic Kingdom for the last time in your life, take Tommy's advice. Splash Mountain Nude works every time. So before we get into, I've got a big ass list of people in the MCU actors who could replace characters in the MCU. Before we do that, I want to know 2 things from you guys. Should they do the soft reboot or should they continue on? And second, do you have any favorite casting? So, Tommy, what do you think? Should they even do the soft reboot we're talking about?
I do. I think I'm going to go to typical Tom Bechtold style and say they got to go soft and hard with this. You got to have. I think some characters, like a soft reboot, bring in elements of the old MCU to keep people comfortable. But there are certain characters, and I liken this to kind of how Batman is always kind of hardly reset with a different actor. Like the actors that have played Batman are kind of all unique. Like you can't have a Steve Rogers that's just a young, handsome white boy like Chris Evans. It's got to be a different type look. Like it has to physically be a different person. So I'm rooting for a hard reset on a Captain America, Tony Stark, the main Avengers. I think they should all be completely different people.
I think if you do a Captain America who's a little bit more cut from like the golden age of Hollywood, maybe a Glenn Powell, just somebody who you can be a little bit more like a bit of a dick, I guess is the best way to put it. Colton, what about you? What's your thoughts on hard reset?
I want a soft reset. I'm going to go soft with it. I want a flaccid reset that like reworks the universe into one cohesive thing where the X-Men have always been there, the Fantastic Four, the Avengers. I'm not super on board with the idea of like recasting a lot of the actors. Like I can't think of a single MCU character that I want to see get recast, except for maybe I think you do Tony Stark and you bring in Kieran Culkin. I think Kieran Culkin would not only be a great Tony Stark, but he could really fill the shoes of like that MCU Tony Stark, like that vibe that Robert Downey Jr. brought to it. Like kind of like what they do with James Bond, where they don't even acknowledge the recasting. They just, keep going and it's the same character.
Every James Bond movie is in a different universe. So it's at this point, we have documentation that can show that. The thing that I'll say, this is why I wanted to do this topic today. I meant to mention at the beginning, but I forgot. I think it's inevitable they will do recasting. And I think it's also inevitable that they'll put it off as long as possible. It's inevitable because comic books are meant to be sustained forever, right? That's why studios love adapting them, because they're made to go on forever, just like they want franchises to go on forever. But the reason I think that they will hold off on recasting as long as possible is because it's risky, right? It's very risky to introduce a new Steve Rogers or Tony Stark. Wolverine. They're going to want to keep those same people in for as long as possible. The exception is, as always, if something stops making money, or if the creatives want to walk away. Like Spider-Man 3, creatives walked away. Amazing Spider-Man 2 didn't make as much money as they thought. In those cases, studios will kind of approach recasting because it looks less risky. So that's where we are on that. I do want to shout out really quick. I want to make sure I get the name right. We had a super chat, just $2, but Tommy, I thought you'd appreciate this. The Buffalo Bills will return in Avengers Doomsday.
Yeah. Aw.
Yeah, sorry about that. And that is from Zane. Okay, we'll get to super chats here in just a bit. First of all, now, Tommy, do you have a recast or a character or an actor you think needs to be in this franchise?
I do.
Let us know in the comments if you agree or disagree with Tommy.
This is a man who has danced around the MCU and other major film franchises for a long time, and I think it's time for him to finally get his due. I would like to see, and he's a Southern boy, but he's going to have to get a New York accent. I want Boyd Holbrook as the next Steve Rogers.
Boyd Holbrook.
Yes,
who do I know? What do I know him from?
Sandman. He's been in some of the James Mangold Logan. I think it was he.
He's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the cyborg in Logan. Okay.
Yeah, he was in Logan.
Oh,
You think he should play Steve Rogers?
I do. He's a big, strapping, handsome, blonde man. I think he should play Steve Rogers.
Okay.
Is he?
He's definitely your more dickhead Steve Rogers for sure.
Yes, I think he would play the.
Yeah.
Yes.
But he would be a multiversal variant of the character he plays in Loki, right? Or not in Loki, in Logan,
Yes.
right?
Yes, he would.
Right.
And he's
Right.
also got a connection to Winter Soldier with the robot. Okay, got it.
Mhm.
I like that.
That's my pitch.
Oh, just because like Winter Soldier is he wasn't in Winter Soldier.
Yes, and in the
Was it?
Fantastic Four universe, he's
Okay.
a toaster oven. I think it's time for him to step into the MCU proper, and I want him as Steve Rogers, as the new tall, strapping dickhead Steve Rogers.
Yeah, and maybe we can even say, look, in our recast world, maybe Chris Evans is 20 years older, so he can't fulfill the role. If that makes you guys feel any better, I'm not saying they should recast him tomorrow, but
Okay. Well, because that's what I was going to say is I do not want to see Steve Rogers recast right now. I think Marvel's in a position where, yes, eventually the time is going to come where we need to retell the stories of like that phase 1 of the MCU. But I don't want to see that right now. I think we have the opportunity to have a Steve Rogers played by Chris Evans, who is no longer Captain America. Let Sam Wilson, Anthony Mackie continue being Captain America. Because, I mean, if you bring in a new Steve Rogers, like a new Steve Rogers, well, then he needs to be Captain America. And then you're pulling the shield away from Sam pretty early. I like the idea of Chris Evans sticking around and like becoming the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. or running for president.
See,
or
I
just
do,
being
I do
like
too.
this.
I do too.
Yeah, this long-lasting thread that we can, track back to and like build a foundation upon. So yeah, I'm not super into the idea of recasting him anytime soon.
Well, even if he's elderly Steve Rogers and becomes director of S.H.I.E.L.D. like he does in the comics, but look, I'll point this out, right? So Sam Wilson being Captain America happened in the comics, but everybody knew it wasn't going to happen forever. Comic books always revert back to one because that's their nature. You have different creators who come on, they do different runs, they try other things. And it always goes back to that character being basically who they were before, regardless of the massive changes they've ever undergone. If you want to actually think of characters who've actually undergone changes in comics that lasted, it's a pretty thin list. So that's another reason I'm like, yeah, eventually Sam Wilson's not going to be Captain America anymore. Just in my head, like he's not going to be Captain America forever. It'll be somebody else next. Could be Bucky next. I don't know. Bucky as Captain America was really interesting in the comics. So let's go through some of these guys. Let's see who we got on our list. Let's start with this cat, Taron Egerton. Right. So a lot of people's list for different characters. Curious what you guys have to say about this in the comments as well. Who do you guys like Taron Egerton to be in the MCU?
Well, he was long rumored to be the next Wolverine, right? Like that was the big push. Is it a requirement that Wolverine has to be able to sing really beautifully? Is that it? They're just like, we need Hugh Jackman. We'll move immediately to another singer.
It is for me.
Yes.
Well, that actually jives. So you like him for Wolverine? What do you guys think?
He'd be a great Wolverine, but again, I think they need to keep Jackman around for a while. Personally,
I just think you're so, because by keeping Hugh Jackman around, what you're basically saying is, yeah, it's the same old universe, right? I think if you're going to have these characters in the MCU, put them in the MCU. I know we have a video coming out about this in a few days where we argue about this, but like, it's either a clean break or it's not, because as soon as you leave one character who's not Deadpool in, you're automatically saying, yeah, it's part of that old universe.
Well, how is that the case? If they're, I mean, you said you're okay with keeping Chris Evans, Steve Rogers, and Tom Holland, Spider-Man, and that's keeping the old MCU.
No, that's from the MCU. That's from the 616. I'm talking about the Fox X-Men movies. Think how, like, in Deadpool and Wolverine, it basically made no sense that Wolverine's in the movie. Like, they had to really stretch credibility to be like, oh yeah, no, he's from the multiverse and his universe is also sad, but now he's in this universe. And because he and Deadpool held hands, everything's fine in this. It really doesn't hold up to scrutiny, right? He can be from a different universe, but as soon as you bring him into the MCU and you say, yeah, Wolverine's this grizzled looking 60-year-old man, realistically, how many more years can Hugh Jackman play that character before he becomes Old Man Logan? Like, I'm sorry, the human body falls apart at some point. And
that's true, but this new universe, when they do a semi-reset, it is going to be a different universe than the one that the 616 currently exists within, because we're going to see, I think, all of those different realities combined. And I think if we're in a situation where I think what Marvel is going for is doing the same thing they do in the comics, where they have their little reset, where they can keep large parts of the canon still like this loose like foundation and build upon it. I think that Hugh Jackman is in the same boat as a Steve Rogers, as a character that it doesn't.
But he's literally from a different universe, though. When you say they keep big parts of the universe, I think they have to keep big parts of the 616 because that's what fans have been following for so long. That's the universe that we're talking about. The X-Men universe is a tangent universe.
Right, but in the comics, in Secret Wars, like for example, they bring they put Miles Morales from the Ultimate Universe.
But that's basically the only thing they did. Like, they really didn't incorporate other aspects of the universe as much at all. The Ultimate Universe was pretty much destroyed.
Right. Yeah,
I'm not saying they can't do that, but they should do that with Deadpool.
Yes, definitely with Deadpool, and it becomes easier with Deadpool because he's such a meta character. Like, he can make a reference to another, like a Fox X-Men movie, and what are you talking about? He'll be like, okay, we'll see. They beat Magneto by doing that. That'd be kind of funny. But
okay.
I want Deadpool and Wolverine too. I know you didn't like Deadpool and Wolverine, but I want to see.
I just don't think it's a good character movie. It's fun to watch these Looney Tune characters without consequences stab each other, but I thought the first two Deadpool movies did a great job of like giving us character stakes. You know, Wade is this wise ass, but at the heart of it, like in Deadpool 2, the ultimate tragedy was more than anything, he wanted to die so he could be with Vanessa. And that's incredibly sad for a character who cannot die. And then the third movie, they just didn't set up his motivation very well. You guys have, you guys have all watched the channel before. You know how I feel.
You know what it does though, and I know we can move on from this topic, but
yeah, it's okay because it will make this whole thing. Yeah.
I think what it does though is by keeping Jackman around and having him go do his own thing, like with Deadpool and this other wing, and they do X-Force stuff, it makes it to where Marvel can't just lean on Wolverine for their X-Men stuff and actually have like other X-Men stand out. So that's another thing that I think
just make X-Men movies that don't have Wolverine in them and have him do. I mean, you can recast Wolverine there, and that's the other thing too. Like, there's so many great Wolverine stories that a recast actor could do. Anyways, let's move on. Sorry, Tommy, you got caught in the middle of mom and dad fighing there. I like this guy a lot. We're kind of in the Hartnett-assance right now, right? Josh Hartnett, like, this guy can do anything. And he's on, if you like, even in The Bear, he can do like muted drama. He was great back in the day in movies like Pearl Harbor. I don't know. What do you guys think? Where would we see Josh Hartnett at in the future?
He was good in that movie. Is it called Trap, where he's at that concert?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's creepy in that.
Yeah,
he did a great job. That character had a lot of stuff going on. What about a Mr. Sinister for Josh Hartnett? What about a Mr. Sinister?
Because I like that because Mr. Sinister has to play that comedic role too. Like he's certifiably insane. I think Hartnett could pull that off. I like that. I like that a lot.
Reprise his character from Halloween H2O.
I think we all do, because what we want to do is connect those universes any way that we can. Just a couple super chats to get through before we attack more of this list. Well-rounded mom gave us $5. Thanks so much. You bought both your kids the Your Mom Will Return an Avengers Doomsday shirt. Guess I'm going to be in the movie. Congratulations on that. And on that note, let me really quickly show you guys some of these shirts we have for sale at our merch store. They're all linked on the merch shelf below. My personal favorite, the Doomsday Festival from '84, the I Hate You 3000. And this one is 11 will return at Avengers Doomsday, followed by Your Mom Will Return at Avengers Doomsday. And somehow Palpatine will return at Avengers Doomsday. The great comic artist Mark Spears did this one for us. This is Tony granting life to Ultron. And another one by Mark Spears. This is Nighthawks, but with X-Men characters. Colton, you did this one. I love this shirt. Fraser Beast. That's a great one.
That's awesome.
And Remember It. It's also one of my favorites, and tribute to Gambit. And another Gambit tribute. Woo! I'm about to make a name for myself. So those are all for sale at our merch store right now. Thanks so much. Kara Sigrin gave us $5. Said, I wonder if they're going to use Franklin to reset the universe like Scarlet Witch did in the House of M comics. He also reset it after Secret Wars. I'd say that's a certainty. At least you got a giant reset button sitting right there. Why not?
I think him and maybe Wanda. Speaking of Wanda, do you guys think they're going to recast Wanda? Or should they keep Elizabeth Olsen?
Not until she gets her due justice.
Yeah, I think so.
And something.
Which might be Doom. Just nothing.
Hey, you never know. She might be in the Champions. The Champions might do Children's Crusade. All right, we got quite a few here. I might thin the herd a little bit, but I want to really quickly throw out, if they do want to do Kang again, I assume Jonathan Majors won't be invited back, or if they want to have T'Challa recast or have little T'Challa grow up, here's some names that keep getting thrown out. I want your thoughts on this. We have Coleman Domingo. I've heard him out there for Kang a lot. John David Washington is also another really popular choice for Kang. You guys know him from Tenet. And Damson Idris is the guy who is rumored to actually be in Black Panther 3, maybe as new T'Challa. You guys think it's been enough time? Should they have T'Challa, Prince or King of Wakanda back in action?
Okay, I thought we were going the Kang direction. Yeah, they definitely need to have T'Challa back. 100%.
Kang's a great character. He just needs to be a time travel character.
I honestly wish that they would make Coleman Domingo the live action Norman Osborn. I love him in the animated.
He'd be great.
The voice.
Yeah.
He's got such an incredible voice.
Yeah, in Friendly Neighborhood, he's fantastic in that. So here's a few other popular ones. This guy gets thrown out a lot. Zac Efron. I don't like him with the mustache. That's going to have to go.
Yeah.
Disgusting mustache. But this is a guy people have said he'd be great for. He just looks like a superhero, right? He's got the jaw. People suggested him for Wolverine, Cyclops.
I was going to say, he kind of looks like James Marsden a little bit in that photo, at least, like in the forehead
there.
and eyes.
A little bit. Yeah.
He looks like he could be a Marsden distant cousin. But I think Cyclops for him. I'm trying to think of like what a good Zag, like who's
if you want an older Cyclops, like if the X-Men movie is going to have younger kids, but then maybe a few of the classic people as teachers, that's not too bad.
And you know who would be perfect if they're going that route is James Marsden.
Yes, agreed.
We'll see what happens in Doomsday. J.M. Marost gave us $5. Thanks so much. Shang-Chi and Blade in a Rush Hour type movie, or Spider-Man and Daredevil in the Raid type movie. You need to get on the phone with Kevin right now and pitch these. I have wanted a Spider-Man Daredevil team up forever, but the idea of Shang-Chi and
Shang-Chi and Blade.
That's
I
it.
want that.
Because I got it for you right now. This is it. Like Shang-Chi's sisters running the 10 Rings. She becomes a vampire. The 10 Rings becomes a vampire organization. Done. That's it. Let's make it. That's how you do Blade.
Yeah.
Kit Harington can come too.
We don't need Rush Hour 4. Just do that. Yeah.
We do.
Here's a fashion. I've never seen a Rush Hour.
What?
I've never seen one. I've never watched, maybe bits and pieces, but it's one of those. I know. Tommy, I cut you off though. What did you say?
I was just, I don't even remember. I think I was just making a dumb joke. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. John Steele gave us $2 and said Jensen Ackles for Steve Rogers. I think he's already been Soldier Boy. I couldn't see him as anything else.
I have a pitch for another guy I just want to get into the MCU, and that's a giant guy who plays Jack Reacher. Is his name Alan Rickman?
Yeah.
What about
massive.
What about a 90s Colossus where he goes back and forth between metal and human skin? Like where he would it would go up like a electric garage door on him, where it would just go that way you can still
he'd
show
be
his
great.
muscles. Yeah,
I would love him
as
in
Peter
that.
Rasputin.
They've also given him he's apparently dancing around Batman in the MCU.
I've danced around Batman. It's dangerous. He's got a lot of batarangs.
Well, you got to do the moves right. If you do the moves right, then obviously the Penguin's goons can't, you evade the Penguin's goons and everything. Okay. Right. Here's a few others, right? We don't have to spend so much time on each of these, but I want to know your thoughts. Here's an out of left field choice. So I think Tony Stark's got to be recast at some point. He's a great character. Downey will be in his 70s at some point. He's not immortal. This is Colton's favorite choice for Tony Stark. Kieran Culkin, right, from Succession. Great choice. I want to throw out a little bit of a dark horse. Joe Keery.
Oh.
We've seen that he can play kind of like a swaggery kind of douchebag if they want Tony to be that way. He could be more of a tech bro.
Yeah.
Colton loves Kieran Culkin, and I think that's the best choice, but who knows if he'll want to do it.
I like Joe Keery as an actor a lot. He seems...
Me too.
I mean, Steve Harrington's first season on Stranger Things is one of the better character arcs of like a TV character, going from like just the most hateable, punchable villain to like a hero in one season was pretty innovative, I thought.
Well, look, this guy could also be a really good fit in the X-Men. You know, I think he's an adaptable actor. We're only used to seeing him as Steve. Yeah. Who's your pick for him in X-Men?
Gambit?
Yeah. I like that. Okay. Well, look, let me throw out this guy. And we're talking about Mr. Sinister earlier. This is who I think would make a great Mr. Sinister. Ready? Jeremy Strong.
Oh, yeah.
Also from Succession.
Yeah.
Because he can do the comedy of Mr. Sinister. He's kind of weird looking already and just an absolute A-class. Like, we all know him from Succession, but this guy's been in things for years, right? He has been all over. He was one of these character actors who would just fill in the background. For instance, he was in The Big Short with another character actor who's kind of filtered in the background. This guy put on a clinic in Midnight Mass, and he put on a clinic in the newest season of Gen V. I love Hamish Linklater.
Oh, I like him a lot too. He was in 42 as well, the Jackie Robinson movie. Yes,
he was, which is, another great movie. Directed by Phil Robinson. But I like this guy for Magneto if they can't get Jason Isaacs in the role. I think Jason Isaacs is like, where's Jason at? He's somewhere up in here. I'll bring him up in a second. I don't see Jason Isaacs. I know we pulled his image, but we'll bring him up in a second. But he's somebody I think, like, basically he plays a Magneto type character in Gen V, so it's a little bit of a shortcut. There's Jason Isaacs, who is the guy who, again, though, he's a little old, right? Yeah. This guy burst onto the scene of The Patriot. He's been Lucius Malfoy. Eventually, he's going to age out of this. Yeah. What do you guys think about this combo, Hamish Linklater or Jason Isaacs?
I like Hamish Linklater a lot. I think he's a great actor. I think like he could bring the direness or seriousness to Magneto that that's mixed with like the irreverence and the he can do both. He's very funny on he plays like a tortured guy on the newsroom. He's like a news producer and he does a very good job of being like put upon by Jeff Daniels. I have this thought for Joe Keery. I don't want to go all the way back.
Okay, no. Go back to Joe.
Like, I think that a character that they tried in the Fox X-Men movies that has not, come. I think they tried him again in the new movies too. Is Angel Warren Worthington III? Like,
oh my God, he'd be great.
Could we have him as a rich boy his papa doesn't approve of his angel wings?
And can I throw out a better casting for Jason Isaacs and Magneto? Because Magneto's got to be around for multiple movies. That's why I say you go with somebody like Hamish Linklater. Jason Isaacs, Hellfire Club. He should be Sebastian Shaw.
Yeah.
Because he's a guy who can do that like egalitarian. He's Lucius Malfoy, right? Yeah. Sebastian Shaw was basically Lucius Malfoy. And I know we got the Hellfire Club in X-Men First Class, but I would like to see the Hellfire Club done correctly. And we don't have her image to pull, but I also thought that, oh my gosh, Mon Mothma, her real name, Genevieve O'Reilly would make a great White Queen, because the White Queen is not all about like the seductive shit that she wears. It's about this like egalitarian way she carries herself. And I think she could pull that role off as well.
You know who'd be another good Succession actor to go into the X-Men?
Lay it on me.
Get the dad from Succession to play like a William Stryker. I think that would be good.
Oh, yeah. He'd be great. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. No, they should definitely have him in it. All right. Let me ask you guys this question. I'm normally bad at casting, so this is where I'm curious. Where would you put Eddie Redmayne?
On the shelf, never to be seen. Can't stand him. No,
by the way, you can get your Eddie Redmayne on a shelf for Christmas time on the ScreenCrush merch store right now.
He is kind of a little elf of a man, isn't he?
Man, look at him. That's Nightcrawler.
No disrespect to Eddie Redmayne.
No,
yeah,
man.
he would be so
Yeah,
good.
you don't want to be like Tarantino, the guy who goes around.
I like Eddie Redmayne. I'm just kidding.
I know
he's so beautiful.
Yeah. But look, he's got this gentleness in roles like a Fantastic Beast that I think translates to Nightcrawler really well.
Yeah. He'd probably win an Oscar if he played Nightcrawler. Quite frankly, like
God, he
won for Theory of Everything, right? Go ahead, Colton.
I could see him as a few characters. I could see him as Magneto. I could see him as Xavier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, I like him as Xavier.
I could see him as Cyclops. Hell, I mean, he is a great actor. Yeah.
I could see him as Jean Grey. I could see him as Storm. Yeah. Actually, I tell a lie. The person I would like to see as Storm is Janelle Monáe. I think she's great.
Oh God, love her.
That's that. And then this is the popular fan cast. We're getting this in the comments right now too. Mark Strong is Professor Xavier, maybe because he's already bald. Seems like a harder edge Professor Xavier, more of a badass Xavier.
I can't stand when in these casting discussions when people's pick is like, oh, she has red hair. She should play Jean Grey. She should play MJ. Oh,
because there's no way to change their hair.
Yeah, they wanted Bryan Cranston would be a great Lex Luthor. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But he would.
He would be a great Lex Luthor, but they're just saying
because he was bald as Heisenberg.
Yeah.
Right.
God, I guess I'll be a great Xavier one day.
But Patrick Stewart was the ultimate fan cast. Like I remember opening up Wizard magazine where they cast the X-Men, and that like basically in order to make the X-Men movie feel legitimate and not like a straight to movie piece of Marvel shit, which is what we got back then, you needed Patrick Stewart in that role, and the fact he was bald make it, easier. Okay, now I got a couple here. These are important, right? For one thing, this guy is the fan cast for Doctor Doom.
Ooh.
Him or he's definitely my guy. I think he'd be a great Doctor Doom. But I got a couple here that are near and dear to Colton's heart. Colton, I got to hear from you and the people in the comments who you think Andrew Lincoln should play in the MCU.
Oh shoot. Yeah, you didn't tell me about this ahead of time.
Yeah, there's a reason I didn't give you guys access to these stills.
Henry McCoy. Make him Henry McCoy.
I think Fraser should play. Look, you're talking about carrying characters over from the X-Men movies. I mean, Fraser's all CGI at this point, and Kelsey Grammer was always perfect casting for that role.
Oh, so. He is. He absolutely is.
I've been trying to not be annoying and say that I want Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy to continue.
Oh, go ahead. You can say that. No. And there's people, I'm looking at the chat right now, there's people who agree with you that you can just combine these two things, and I'm not saying that. I love James McAvoy, man. Like, he's great. Michael Fassbender as well. And I would like for their last X-Men movie to not be, Michael Fassbender going like this against the helicopter.
Yeah.
And Dark Phoenix.
I'll say this for Andrew Lincoln, and I don't want to already replace the newly redeemed Channing Tatum, but he would kill Gambit as well. I think he would kill Gambit.
Andrew Lincoln?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little old, but yeah.
He's older now. He might be a good Mr. Sinister. Like, I want to see him as a villain, I think that he could kill it as a villain.
He has played a villain. His best villain role ever was from Love Actually.
That's
when
right.
He filmed Keira Knightley against her will and stalked her.
In that movie.
Yeah, he really was. He made out with his best friend's wife a month after their marriage in the street outside.
Yeah. And
bad man.
And creepily filmed her for the entire wedding, as you said.
Yeah, people think Alan Rickman's the bad guy in that movie. He's not. All right.
I think the little kid that drums is the bad guy in that movie.
I love that kid. He played he played Jojen Reed. Yes, I love that kid.
He's my villain.
He's not stocky though. He that's romantic. Okay, whatever. We got a couple others here that are really interesting. Julio Diaz says use Gunn's idea, cannon a fuse, keep a few keys.
Yeah.
They'll probably do that. Like Secret Invasion will be jettisoned and will someday be an Avengers movie. I'm confident in that. We got Mark something 92 gave us $2, said Jamie Campbell Bower is the new Magneto. Or Arcade. He looks like Arcade, but again, maybe that's me not having imagination.
That's what I thought the other day. What if I know we've had a rough Apocalypse appearance, but not through no fault of Oscar Isaac's, but like
sure. You think this guy?
What if Jamie Campbell Bower played Apocalypse? He's so scary as Vecna.
Sure. I'll give it to you. I think I personally don't want to cover up his face. He was way scarier as Henry than he was as Vecna.
Yeah.
And I've never like Apocalypse is kind of a lame villain, guys. He just is. Like in the comics, he turns his hands into mallets and he bashes people. Like he's way better in the X-Men animated series than he ever was. I think in the comics. I mean, there's some good Apocalypse comics, but
I was gonna say Doom, but I hope RDJ stays as Doom maybe for a little bit, and he'd be behind the mask anyway. And like you just said, he has a great expressive face. Why cover it up?
Dude,
what about Cletus Cassidy? Carnage.
Yeah, he looks like him. Certainly better casting than Woody Harrelson, I think. I like that a lot. Yeah, I like that quite a good bit. Oh, and by the way, here's our guy from Jack Reacher.
Yeah.
And yep, he would be a great Colossus. Really just anytime you need a large dude, because that's essentially what he is.
And he's funny too.
We've got a lot of people in the chat who are saying Joe Keery for Iceman. And we've also got from Moat 335 gave us $10. Thanks so much. Chances that the Spider-Verse events cross over into the MCU Secret Wars. I would say good. In Secret Wars. They might include, in the same way that we got the multiversal tree, like some production design stuff. I don't think we'll see Oscar Isaac as Spider-Man 2099, which by the way, they should do live action. I love Spider-Man 2099.
Yeah. Let me say this. I will riot if in Secret Wars, like a portal or something opens and they bring in like animated characters into the
Spider-Pig.
Well, you could have Donald Glover as the Prowler.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which they might do in the MCU anyways.
Yeah. I do not want to see cartoon characters. I hate it. It worked in Across the Spider-Verse, but it still kind of took me out of the movie a little bit. Yeah.
That's Roger Rabbit. Yeah, there's no dramatic stakes, when they do that. Chad is also saying, I like this Joe Keery for Iceman. Makes sense.
He would be a good Iceman.
Yeah, I personally like Tommy's suggestion most about him being Angel. Spoiled rich playboy who also can, if he ever meets Apocalypse played by Jamie Campbell Bower, which would be hilarious, turns blue and gets metal wings and goes through this whole thing. We also got Guy Pearce as Beta Ray Bill. What the hell why would you cast Guy Pearce as Beta Ray Bill? Guy Pearce, for one thing, was underused in the MCU. He's one of many great actors, like Ray Winstone. Not Ray Winstone. Oh my God. The
Ray
guy.
Stevenson?
Yeah, thank you. Ray Stevenson, who was wasted in the MCU.
Yeah.
But yeah. And also Diego Luna as Bobby Ray as Ghost Rider. Great. He doesn't even need to play a character who is Hispanic in the comics. Diego Luna can just play any character, I think. I would love to see him in the MCU somewhere. Okay, Colton, this is another one for you. Just curious what you think of this guy. This is a big one, big actor who's not been in the MCU before. People have been fan casting him as characters like Wolverine, but we know you're against that. I'm just curious. And also, he's kind of a pick for Ghost Rider for a dumb, obvious reason. What do you think about Norman Reedus? Where does he go? People think, well, he rides a motorcycle in Walking Dead, so he should ride a motorcycle in the MCU.
He was kind of seriously rumored there for a while on Ghost Rider, wasn't he?
Yeah, so was Ryan Gosling, which might still happen.
He's older than he looks, man. He's like in his 50s, like kind of getting into...
Oh, yeah, dude. Boondock Saints came out 30 years ago almost.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think he's knocking on 60, in fact.
Right.
If he's not already there.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that meant something else that I didn't. Okay, wait. Yeah, sorry. I thought knocking on 60 was a euphemism.
Oh, okay. If he were a little younger, maybe a Gambit. He could pull off Gambit. God, I hate to criticize him. I love Norman Reedus, but everything I see him in, he's playing Daryl. He's Daryl in everything. Like, was he in John Wick or Ballerina or something? And he
I didn't see Ballerina yet.
Daryl in that.
He's 57 years old.
Yeah.
Oh, you looked it up?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you want 57-year-old Hugh Jackman to play Wolverine, so I fail to see.
Well, because I would never say, if you're gonna fresh start recast a character, then I think yes, you go younger, because you want them to be able to play the character, for the long haul. I think if they're already playing the character, then they're kind of like grandfathered in a little bit.
Maybe he should play Madam Web, an old elderly Madam Web. He's kind of got a little frail figure. He could just sit in the chair.
Madam Web, yeah, I could kind of see that. Yeah. It would have to be traditional Madam Web, not the Dakota Fanning, not Dakota Johnson. Dakota
Fanning
is Madam Web.
Yes.
Honestly, they probably could take like all three of the actors who played the Spider Women in that movie have gone on to be in really big shit. Like it is, I think they'll look back on Madam Web and go, like, that's a trivia question waiting to happen.
Mm-hmm.
What flop starred 4 Academy Award winners who went on to star in their own superhero franchises?
Well, Sydney Sweeney's not an Academy Award winner, but she does have Golden Globes. Am I right, guys? Come on.
Excellent. Excellent. Hey, let's go to a couple super chats real quick. We've got Rhythm City RM gave us $20. Thanks so much. I hope Deadpool and Wolverine show up with the TVA to save Toby's Spider-Man. Why not? I mean, at that point, you're basically doing Endgame Portals cartoon crossover with the Ninja Turtles and Captain Planet to stop kids from doing drugs kind of thing. Like that sounds like fun. At a certain point, I love movies where you can throw things in a toy box, right? The toy box movies are great, where you empty all your toys out on the ground and play with them. I just also like character stakes.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I want the toy box dumped. That's what I want Doomsday to be. Just dump that thing out.
All right. We got an interesting suggestion here from Zeus Fleming. Gave us $2 Canadian dollars. A couple of, what are they called? Loonies? Couple loonies.
Or one toonie.
Or one toonie. Okay, great. This cat, and we can see ourselves on the side here. Hi.
Ah.
Hi. This cat for Magneto. Or do you like him for anything? I like just seeing part of Tommy's face here too. I'm not going to take this down because, yeah.
Who is
What do you guys
that?
like him for? That was Viggo Mortensen, Aragorn.
Okay.
Ego.
He's old.
Says Hugh Jackman. He can play an older person.
Yeah, he could play an older character, but I think if they recast Magneto, then cast somebody that can play him for a while. But I guess with Magneto, he could play him for a while because you can have a super old dude playing Magneto.
They have had a super old dude playing Magneto.
Yeah. Still do.
I think, yeah. I mean, Ian McKellen, I think, was in his 60s when he took that role.
And they started it.
Yeah. A lot of people in the chat are saying Eddie Redmayne for Beast, which I think is a lot of fun too.
Beast. Yeah.
Great at everything.
He could be anyone. Yeah.
Maybe
he really could.
He should Mike Myers this and just play all the X-Men.
He should be Mystique or Morph.
Why not Mike Myers is all the X-Men? Mike Myers and Eddie Murphy. It's literally playing all of them.
I'm Juggernaut.
I've got one. Who should we play in the new MCU?
I mean, my dream role is Cyclops, guys. I would do any.
Cyclops,
I mean, that's me.
right.
I'd shave the beard, bulk up, whatever I got to do. That's my guy.
I can see you as Cyclops. All right.
Thank you. Means a lot. Can't believe
who's that little green?
That's so sweet.
Who's the little green slimy guy from X-Men?
Dupe?
Yeah, I'll be him.
And you're talking about the guy who flies around? Who the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, that guy.
Oh, you're Dupe? Yeah. You want to be the character that doesn't talk, that flies? Why not be Artie or Leech while you're right? Come on, you can do better than that, man. You're Wolverine. You're the That's you.
Okay, I'll be Wolverine. All right.
And
Tommy.
I'll be Mystique. Luring.
Hell yeah.
Are you gonna do the body paint?
Yeah, oh yeah. Absolutely.
Oh,
my body,
does.
I don't turn into a hot, gorgeous woman. I just remain an overweight man.
I mean, Tommy, you're already well versed in body paint competitions.
Look, like Sydney, I've got the Golden Globes for it. I'm ready.
My guy. Speaking of, we've been very neglectful for the women who could be in the MCU. What do we think about another member of the Greendale Seven, Allison Brie?
Yeah.
She-Hulk.
Oh, yeah. She'd be great. She-Hulk.
I'm kind of with that too. Allison Brie, somebody who I think when they cast She-Hulk, they said they were looking for an Allison Brie type, which is normal in casting. They always do that. And I love Tatiana Maslany. She apparently doesn't want to do the role anymore, according to rumors. So She-Hulk.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm all for that. I love that. All right, let's see. I want to get to a couple super chats here because we have some interesting ones. We've got Jim Ross, again, gave us $2. Thank you. Anthony Kerrigan for Metamorpho. Okay. Yeah. Or Anthony Corrigan, who's already been Metamorpho, and Tyler Hoechlin for Cyclops. Oh, you're talking about Morph. Gotcha. Sorry, because he is Metamorpho. Isn't that the guy who plays Metamorpho?
Yes. Yeah.
Anthony Kerrigan.
Yes.
And I don't know, who's Tyler Hoechlin?
Oh, he was Superman in the TV series, I believe.
Yeah.
Superman and Lois.
Oh, yeah, he's great. Yeah, he'd be a great
Hoechlin.
Cyclops.
Tyler Hoechlin. Yeah.
Hoechlin, yeah, sorry about that. Glenn Powell is Cyclops as Rhythm City. Glenn Powell, I think, is somebody who See, this is a guy that Hollywood seems like they're pinning all their hopes on. He had that big hit with Sydney Sweeney. I've read articles about him that are trying to tout him as like the only new movie star, because movie stars are less of a pull in Hollywood now. He's definitely somebody I'm sure has taken meetings at many studios. He'd be a great booster gold, but I think he's more somebody you can pin an entire franchise on.
Yeah,
for sure.
Tricky, right?
Yeah. How old is? I can't tell with him. He could be.
I think he's like
30.
He's like 36. I think he's younger than me. I know that.
He would be a good douchey Steve Rogers.
I was about to say I don't want to recast Steve Rogers, but yes, he would be.
If this A doesn't stand for France, Steve Rogers. I think he's your guy. Yeah. I'd be wrong about that. Okay, we've also got Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Mr. Sinister from John Steele. Jeffrey Dean Morgan can do anything, and he would be an exceptional Mr. Sinister. I think I like that better than Jeremy Strong. Give Jeremy Strong like Victor Creel or somebody like that, like one of the Humans Who Hate Mutants, because he can do rage so well. I would love to see Jeffrey Morgan in that character.
You know who'd be a good Norman Osborn? I've always thought Matthew McConaughey.
He'd be great. He'd be great. I love Matthew McConaughey. We've also got here, this is a question for us. Serb gave us $5 to ask, where should the timeline start after the reset? Also, please recast MODOK. I disagree on recasting MODOK. I think that Patton Oswalt's perfect for the role. So where do we think the timeline starts after the reset?
I think it picks up present day, like our present day, but I'm hoping that the new universe, I don't want it to be like necessarily a retro future thing, but I don't want it to look like a carbon copy of like what our world looks like either. I'm hoping that since they're going to be combining like different fragments, I think, of universes, that they can have like a modern, simultaneously retro future kind of thing. Just make it more like fantastical, kind of like they do with DC, kind of like with a Metropolis or something like that. That's what I hope they do.
Already had the technology that exists in the MCU right now. Is pretty advanced.
Make it timeless. I think make it to where it can kind of just work at any time. Yeah.
You talking like Gotham, the TV show, where it was like the cars were from the 70s, the cell phones were from 2010, and like seriously, that was like that show.
In the show Gotham, you said?
Yeah, like that show was like. It was retro,
or just Batman the animated series.
I was about to say, I still don't know when the animated series takes place. Yeah. Here's
a great one. This is from Rhythm City RM. Gave us $5. Thanks so much. What do we think about Edie Gathie somehow reprising his role as Darwin? You know, Darwin is famous for this ability to always adapt. He can't be killed. So, of course, in his first movie, he's killed. And I love him as Mr. Terrific. I especially love him in the show For All Mankind. I don't think if they bring him back at this point, because he has been Mr. Terrific, that he is playing Darwin. Maybe like in Secret Wars or something, like you said, to justify what they did to him. I love the actor.
Yeah, and I want him to play Mr. Terrific like a lot. So I don't know if he has.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think he'll stop.
Be in Marvel.
Hey, we got another one. Q-Man WPG. I love this one. Gave us a toonie. Thanks so much. Another Jeffrey Dean Morgan suggestion, and this one's even better than the last, I think, because eventually there's another MCU actor who is really important, plays a very important character, who someday is going to have to retire. And that actor is Samuel L. Jackson, and the suggestion is Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Nick Fury.
He would be a good Nick Fury if they wanted to go like that. That
he would be.
More
maybe they can get Hasselhoff back. I don't know.
I can see him in the blue and the what wasn't his costume, like he has a blue and white costume at one point, Nick Fury, that was more like tactical.
Yeah, like in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like in there's one season Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. where that's like what they wear. Yeah, I could see that. He could do that tactical thing. I mean, the thing is, like, Samuel L. Jackson was cast as Nick Fury in the comics. Like in the Ultimate Universe, they made him into, way earlier than he was ever cast in the MCU. In fact, I think they didn't even get his permission to do that. He literally heard from his agent, you're in this comic, which you're not supposed to do, but he was nevertheless flattered. Let's see. Zeus Fleming gave us a toonie and said, Colton's coming off very ageist today. I disagree. I think I'm the one who's coming off ageist because I'm the one who's saying you can't cast old people as Wolverine. But Colton, that is a metric that you seem to have. If somebody's old, they're out.
Well, because my metric for casting a new character is if you're going to go through the trouble of especially recasting a current character, well, the whole point, I think, in doing that is for longevity. You're starting new. You're viewing Secret Wars as a great point to refresh things. So you might as well cast an actor who can play the role for a while. I don't see I think it's kind of pointless to recast Hugh Jackman Wolverine if you're just going to throw in a 55-year-old guy to play him. Like, if you're going to recast Wolverine, then get a young guy to play him so he can play him for the next 20 years. Yeah.
Animation Man, I agree with you. Animation Man gave us $10. The heart emoji. Thanks for the donation. Hey, can I backtrack on something that we kind of mentioned a second ago? So I was talking about this guy, Hamish Linklater. Him as Tony Stark, man. I don't know if you guys saw Gen V season 2, but he does a great job of playing like villainous snark. I just think this guy can do anything. I really love him. And then in Midnight Mass, he can do these sermons in it that are just so explosive. But then there's other moments where he pulls back and he's so gentle and kind. I love that actor. He's also in The Big Short in a supporting role. Do you think he could also be a Tony Stark, Colton?
He could. I'm just so set on Kieran Culkin, though. I think he would just be perfect for that role.
Kieran Culkin doesn't want to do it. Let's just say. And Macaulay's not available either.
What about then you got Rory Culkin, and that's it.
Yeah, I don't know. No.
Wow.
I don't want to. I refuse to accept Kieran Culkin's refusal.
I know we're all set on, probably the Fantastic Four cast remaining in those roles for a long time, but he could play Reed Richards as well.
Yeah. I doubt if he will. I think they are.
I know he won't, but if we're going to fantasy.
Well, speaking of actors who are wasted in the MCU, Ben Song just gave us £2 British, said Giancarlo Esposito for Charles Xavier. Unfortunately, maybe in a hard reset they can do that. But boy, did they really waste him in Brave New World.
I've never heard him for Xavier. I always heard him for Magneto.
Oh, I think I heard him for Xavier before Magneto, but it's a good one. And by the way, Colton, we got a compliment here for you from Michael Rondini. Gave us $5. Said, Colton, great job on the last few videos. We've been talking about Doom at the end of time, but what if he's looking from the watcher's view, which is kind of what we talked about in yesterday's video that he's watching in the window.
Yeah, and full credit to you on that one.
Well, he could be in the watcher's zone too. Like I like that.
Yeah, and we know from, I think, the stained glass window that we're seeing behind the Doomsday Clock and in the poster. Yeah, I think those shards of glass are definitely like the Watcher's thing, and it's he can see the entirety of the multiverse. I think just how Loki can, Doctor Strange's window in his sanctum, he can see like other dimensions in different places looking through that window. I think it's the same thing. Yeah,
or at least related in some way. I don't know, the way they've kind of I gotta go. But the way they've kind of explained the difference between multiverses and timelines and universes, you've done your best in different videos. And back in the day, I did my best to explain it. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. I don't think that I don't think they sat down at their big planning meeting and said, guys, before we map out the next 10 projects in the MCU, we just have to be clear what the difference is between a timeline and a universe and where this thing sits and what makes, I don't think they've ever been clear on that. So the rules are whatever we say they are. Hey, I got this one. Frog Out of Pan gave us $2. Thank you. And said, Ben Whishaw as Cyclops. Paddington himself as Cyclops.
Yeah.
There he is. There's the guy. Remember him in Mary Poppins Returns?
Nightcrawler.
Absolutely is Nightcrawler. Come on, Artemis. Come on.
Didn't he also play? He also played Q in some of the James Bond movies, right? Or was he Q?
He did. He did. Yeah. In the first. I think in all the Daniel Craig ones, because they wanted to go younger with everybody, but Dame Judi Dench in those. Okay, let me ask you. Here's a wild card, and maybe I'm catching up on a TV show that I'm a little behind on right now. So maybe this is why this guy's in my head. I want you to keep an open mind. Maybe you're not familiar with the show this guy is on.
Yeah.
Where do we want William Zabka in the MCU?
Zabka,
right?
Anywhere he wants. Norman Osborn.
Johnny Lawrence. Where does he go? Here he is again. William Zabka. I'll point this out. He kept up with karate. There's a reason he does way more fights than Ralph Macchio in that TV show. because
Iron
Ralph
Fist.
Macchio.
Is it who's?
I mean, he's old too. He's up there.
Who's the crazy guy who thinks that he's like he might be a DC character, and I'm about to get freaking roasted? Isn't there a character called like the Patriot who's like loves America but is evil?
Yo, no. You're talking about Nuke.
Nuke, yes.
Okay, so Nuke was in Jessica Jones. I don't know. Didn't see season 3, so I don't know if they ever like did the whole thing with him. But Nuke from the Great Daredevil Born Again, he would be an amazing Nuke. This like elite government soldier who does whatever they tell him, and he eats different pills to get different kinds of like strength and rage. I would love to see him in that. Cast this guy as the villain in a Captain America Daredevil crossover movie.
Or have him be like, I want to see him as like a Shang-Chi villain, a Spider-Man villain, a Daredevil villain. Like put his hand-to-hand combat training to use. I think any character in that realm. Yeah.
Spider-Man villain would be interesting. I think there's going to be a lot of Spider-Man villains in Brand New Day. There's all these rumors about like a montage at the beginning with like Tombstone and Boomerang and all these other people that he's got to go up against.
I can't think of anyone else. I was gonna say he could play. No, he's too old to play him. Yeah, never mind.
Now lay it out there. Come on.
Well, and we've already got a guy playing him as Scorpion, but Nacho Vargas playing Scorpion. I was trying to think of Spider-Man villains that would be fun, but nah.
I think he's more of a Dr. Octopus type. Okay, and here's the last guy on my list for the day, Daniel Radcliffe. A lot of people fan cast him as Wolf. Yeah, Dan Rad. The other Dan Rad. He's not Danny Rand.
I like him as Iceman. I like him better for Iceman than Joe Keery, to be honest.
I just always think Iceman's a young dude. And, you know.
I guess Daniel Radcliffe's not a young dude anymore. I just picture him as like 14-year-old.
Mid-30s, man.
Yeah, you're right.
In Texas, he's old enough to be like a great-grandfather at this point, right, Colton?
That's right.
He's Texas Pappy age?
He's Peepaw. Yeah.
Peepaw.
Peepaw.
Oh, we got Daphne Keane coming back as X-23. X-23 as Wolverine. That'd be fun. I like that one a lot. That's really good.
Yes.
And I don't know. So I'm of two minds about all this. Tommy, let me ask you this, because me and Colton had our argument earlier, and I want to just kind of end on your take on this argument. You can arbiter these two things. Do you think they should bring back Hugh Jackman as Wolverine?
I do. I am on team to bring Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine. I'm so sorry. I'm so
okay.
sorry.
No, it's okay.
And Tommy, who do you want to live with, mom or dad?
He's already made his decision. He's not living here with us.
Wait, no.
Oh no, she doesn't like that. She likes.
I just want to go to a boarding school in France where I could be with my fellow Parisians.
I don't get the reference. I'm sorry.
It's not a reference. It's just.
Okay. You just really. You're from France. I didn't get that. Yes. All right, gang. I'm going to let you guys go. As always, you guys can find Colton and Tommy's social links down below, and you can you can argue with them on the internet, and hopefully they don't argue back too hard. Tommy, you got to get going, right?
Yeah, I got to get back to knocking on 60, if you know what I'm saying.
We know what he's talking about. Colton, we're going to miss you over the next few days. Have a great time. You're there in spirit with all of us. Have a good time on behalf of all of us. I appreciate it.
And I'd be happy to uproot my vacation if the Doomsday trailer drops. So you better call me.
Absolutely. You'll be like on, oh my God, you'll be on Rise of the Resistance the whole time, like trying to react to the video while this crazy shit's going around you. No spoilers for Rise of the Resistance, by the way. If you haven't looked at anything, that's my best advice. Go on the ride and don't watch a single video about it beforehand. It sounds like Disney's paying me. They're not. I just love theme parks. And of course, I want to hear from you guys. I want to remind you, I have a Substack. Come over there, subscribe, totally free. Just trying to, do some other things and be on different platforms. You can also find me on Twitter, Blue Sky Threads, or especially on ScreenCrush's free to join Discord server. Links for those are below. And keep the argument going in the comments about who you think should or shouldn't be recast in the MCU, or whether or not you think they should recast at all. And if it's your first time here, do me a favor, please subscribe, smash that bell for alerts. For ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Airy, and that was Content Cat, who just went, there she goes. She's been causing trouble all during the